Hello, everyone. This is Nadine Miskovich coming to you, also known as the Sunlit Warrior. This is my second week doing my Sunlit Warrior series, and I am beyond excited about it. So this last week, it was a little bit more difficult for me to launch my first weekly episode, you can call it, because I had so many fears of what it was going to turn into, what the response was going to be like, if people were going to like it, what people would say. And so far, the response has been amazing. And I am so grateful to be able to have so many supporters and family and friends and people that have supported me through my journey. And so, just to follow up from last week, my biggest question, it was a week after Thanksgiving, and my question was talking around what we're thankful for or what we are grateful for. And I had such beautiful responses from so many different individuals. I thank all of you for sharing with me what you are thankful for. Some of the things that people shared were things like family and friends, and someone said their dog, which was really beautiful. I know animals play a huge part in people's lives. And a lot of people said they were thankful for their friends and family members being in recovery or finding sobriety. And I thought that was truly beautiful as well. So for this week, we are going to be talking a little bit about fear. I know that everyone has fear. We all have those difficult times that maybe we're facing, and we're like, oh, I'm not sure what I should do, what I should say, what's going to happen. And for me, one of my biggest fears was not only releasing this vlogging series, because I had a huge fear around that, but also I had a huge fear of what it was going to be like living in recovery or living a life of sobriety. Because for me, I used to believe that sobriety was never really truly possible. I used to believe that being completely sober wasn't really possible. And so for me, facing my fears, one of the greatest things that I've learned, especially more so recently, is that if you don't try it, how will you ever know? So this kind of goes back to even when I was a younger girl, whether it was like trying out for sports, or maybe it was trying out for a local play, or maybe it was doing something with friends, or whatever it was. One of the greatest things that I realized was that if I don't try it, how am I ever going to know if I like it or not? And so this actually recently just came to my attention earlier this year. So when I started talking about wanting to write my own book and maybe release a blog or a vlog, I had so many fears and doubts of what it was going to turn into or what it was going to look like. And when I spoke about this with one of my mentors, she said, well, how can you relate this to anything else in your life? When there's something that maybe you're afraid of, what do you typically do? So maybe for you, maybe it's starting a new job, or maybe it is reaching out to an old family member or friend, or maybe it's making amends with them. Maybe it's asking somebody out on a date, or maybe it's finally catching up with someone that you haven't talked to in a long time. So many different things that we face on a daily basis can be fearful. And so for me, what I learned is that if we just try it and see what happens, then we'll know. So it kind of even goes back to even bigger fears, whether it's like public speaking, maybe it's sharing your story, maybe it's riding a roller coaster for the first time. I think the greatest thing that you can do is at least try. And that's something that I did with my recovery, my sobriety. In the beginning, I was like, well, I guess I'll just kind of try and see how it goes. Of course, there's so many different factors that played into it. But same with speaking. When I shared my story for the first time, I was beyond afraid of what that was going to turn out to be. And afterwards, I found one of my greatest joys. And through that, I was able to find my purpose. So if any of you are feeling like you're in a dark place, or you're down on your knees, or your face is down on the ground and you're not sure what to do, and you're not sure where to turn, and you're really afraid of what maybe could happen, or maybe what, could come from the decision or the choices that you're making, of course, please, consider looking into it, writing about it, reading more about it. But one of the greatest advice that I have learned and that I can share with you is at least try it. At least try it for one time and see how it goes. So for this week, I would love to hear from all of you about what are your fears and how are you facing them. Thank you so much, guys. I look forward to sharing some more with you next week. Much love.